Good morning, everybody. Now, lately, my head must be empty because the viewers seem to be the ones giving me the best ideas for these shows. I had a guy give me a question about the difference between trading stock and buying companies. And so I will discuss that to some extent. But before we get there, he had also commented that when he tries to discuss investing and finance with people around him, they look at him like he's speaking an alien tongue. Well, I'm not surprised. And there's a number of reasons why. To begin with, most of our educational institutions do not include, it's classes on finance and investment and so on. So we don't really get much education on the subject, but I think it really stems from the fact that in general, Americans are not sustainable thinkers. Well, that's my belief. Now, I think a lot of people who watch this channel are. Yeah, if you're growing your own food, working land, using alternative energy, etc., this type of thought process. Well, these are ideas that are sustainable, but sustainability doesn't necessarily just mean, timber for 7 generations or fish for 7 generations, which that's very much the basis of these ideas, is that we're leaving something and making sure, that stuff's there. And again, I think people who engage in growing plants and gardening, most of them at least have a feeling for this, and I can tell that some of the viewers, hey, they know just what I'm talking about. But because most of us don't really believe in sustainability, what happens to us, I think, is we end up, the average American tends to run on a treadmill, chasing an economic treadmill, chasing a carrot that they usually never catch. You collapse on the treadmill, they pick you up, and Charlton Heston turns you into Toilet Green, right? No, that's not true. But, you can spend your entire life chasing an economic goal that you never meet. You die in debt, probably, Well, there's a definite difference in this nation between the rich and the poor. The poor know how to work. The rich know how to invest. Main difference, folks. I don't know if you ever noticed that one. So if we don't think in sustainable terms on the planet in general, then I think it's probably not easy to think in sustainable terms for your own personal life and its economy. Talk about sustainability in person. All of us drop dead eventually. So, sustainability is, to a point personally, is terminal. There's I think some reasons that people don't have these sustainable thoughts is because of their belief systems. There's so much of this Christian stuff running around that the end of the world is at hand. Armageddon is coming. The forces of Donald Trump will rise up against the wicked and kill all the gays and, blah, blah, blah. That kind of silly thinking. Well, I don't think that way. Okay. Now, I'm not trapped in belief systems like that. I figure I'll be hanging out until I ain't hanging out anymore. Now, the rest of you could help make my life miserable because of what you believe in. I'll tell you that. But I'll be hanging around in the meantime, and I'll be here. And so, I need money. Yeah. If you're not thinking in sustainability for your own personal economy, you're going to run on a treadmill the rest of your life. And in the process, you're going to do a lot of things that you probably didn't really want to have to do. And things that maybe weren't that good for you, me, and everybody else out here. We do things to make money sometimes that we wish we hadn't. Yeah, so when a person deals with a sustainable economy in their own personal lives, you now have freedom. And within that freedom, you can live a life instead of run on the treadmill of debt and jobs. Yeah. I don't suppose most people believe that, but I own everything here, lock, stock, and barrel. You know. Yeah. I don't owe anything to anybody. This is very sustainable. I got to pay the government taxes on the property, but I utilize every possible discount they allow me on those property taxes. And so on. You know, I pay the government some taxes. My insurance, got to happen. There's things I'm stuck to, like the rest, but most of the rest of the stuff you guys worry about, your credit card bills, your car payments, your house loans, student loans maybe, I don't have any of it. Why? Well, it was because of the way I set up my economy. Yes, I set it up to be sustainable. It took me a while, but once I built it to a certain point, it operates. And so it just keeps feeding along without me having to stress much over it. So how does that apply to buying companies as opposed to trading stocks? Okay. Well, if you're really into sustainability, we may look at a lot of personal habits you have in your life that maybe not too sustainable either. One of them is, for me, gambling. I don't do it. Got no use for it. Okay. I have mentioned many times before, I am not into the big score. It's not important to me. I mean, the gumball machine thing where I've got a dime at a time dropping and it never stops. It's raining like dimes. Okay. No big score, just a big pile of dimes. All right. It's the way I run my economy. And so gambling is not part of that because that's mostly risk. It's generally in favor of the house. So it's a loser's game. It is possible. I have known or heard of people, at least, that secondhand heard of people that actually made a living in Vegas on gambling, but they had a system. Yeah. And it's okay. So then we go from there to, I don't like gambling. I don't engage in it. It's dangerous psychologically for me. Yeah, it's a type of thing, which I don't grasp. I don't do that. Bad for your desire. Watch out for it. But so when I enter the stock market, which is really what this question was originally about, and I have said more than once, I don't trade stocks. I buy companies, or at least I invest in companies. Now this is, again, find these quotes out there by Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger and a number of the other tycoons we've seen in this country, is exactly what they do. And I modeled myself after this. It was working for them at their scale. Warren Buffett buys half a railroad, right? Well, if I was into railroads like Buffett, which I'm not, well, Bill might buy 100 shares, all right? But the best time to buy that railroad? When I get the idea. Not when somebody on social media is driving me towards something, or because the price of the stock looks like it's going up, I don't pay much attention to that. Now, I'm a conscientious shopper. When I go into the stock market and look around, I see the trends that, maybe if things are rolling down a little bit, that's when I get interested. Yeah, when the market is depressing is when I really think, oh boy, if I wanted to pick up that railroad, I'm going to go in and grab it then. So I do pay attention to price. Cheaper I can get the thing for, the greater the profit I can potentially make out of it, all right? So, that aside, I didn't choose it because of price. I didn't choose it because somebody said, hey, it's hot, you got to do this thing. That's when I run the other way, always. Okay, when that happens, I know better. But, well, I think a good example on that one, here's one. Amazon. Yeah. Long time ago. Anybody out there remember when Amazon was a bookseller? Yeah, I remember because I wasn't invested in them. I was in a way I was kind of about them because they were edging out all of my neighborhood bookstores. Yeah, I didn't really like that. But I made an announcement one day that they were going into full-scale retailing. Something on the order of a digital Sears catalog. I went, whoa. Now, that's a business idea. They already got the infrastructure for shipping stuff, taking orders, etc., etc. Well, if they're going to go ahead and start adding onto it, bicycles, men's shirts, hats, well, I think that's a great idea. That's what I thought. All right. Because why? I hate shopping. I don't like crowds. It's really hard to get me out there. My mother used to drag me through downtown Chicago until I was bloody, shopping in big crowds. I hated it. Yeah, never recovered from it. Why do you think I live out here on an island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean? Yeah, I'm not into crowds, and I'm not into shopping. And when I saw what Amazon was doing, I said, this is a business model I approve of. I said, this is a good idea. So I put some money down on it. Well, as things evolved, and it started to really pan out. Then there were 2008. We had an economic crash. The value of the stock fell almost to its IPO. Well, I'm a contrarian. When everybody's running this way, I run the other way. So I went in and I picked up Amazon. And I bought more of it. Some other issues, it happened, little depressions over time, and I picked up more of it, and so eventually through splits and so on, I end up now I've got 1,000 shares of this stuff. All right, wow, it's the 600-pound gorilla in my stock portfolio. It moves everything. Chances are, because of my investment in their company's idea, I will be able to buy probably anything and everything from them for the rest of my life and never have to pay for it out of anything but the revenue I made on their stock purchase. Yeah, that's sustainability. Free shopping for life. This is what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about trying to make money on a Bitcoin or flipping this stuff, or they say, man, this stock's rising quick, buy it now and maybe you can make some money while it's peaking. This is not really sustainable. It's not good for the country. It's not really that good for the economy. It's mostly a crap table. And I mean, well, how you feel about gambling? Me, I don't like gambling and I don't do it. So usually when I'm putting my money down on something, I'm putting my money down on that thing for other reasons. It's a good idea. It has potential that this might actually turn into something in time. I mean, this is what people are hoping Bitcoin will do, but sorry, there's no growth potential in this stuff, okay? Yeah, no, I'm talking about industries, business ideas, things that are actually doing something, all right, and contributing within the society. I personally see gambling as bad karma. Flipping stocks, basically, well, it's kind of neutral. But it's not really good for you because it works against a mindset of sustainability. Gambling is not sustainable. The economy you make from gambling is not sustainable. This is the point, okay? What I do on the market when I'm buying companies and their ideas, okay, and what they might do with those ideas, that's sustainable. If I picked right, those companies are going to boom. I have a few of them that did. I took a guess on Google and the AI, and that made me plenty too. I don't know what I think about AI in the long run, so I'm not investing in any more of it. But, there it is. And this will go on for a long period of time. And there is not a whole lot of anything I actually have to do to be able to continue drawing profit from this. Go in and cash in a few shares, get the greenbacks, spend them on something useful. I'm going to have to do a minimum withdrawal here coming up at 73 because of my birthday on my IRA. Government make me pull some money out and try to pay taxes on it. Well, in the evasion of income tax, the legal way, I will be putting more solar collectors up on the house and adding a second every EV charger because I'm thinking about an EV truck coming up here. And well, those are all tax credit. There's 30% of the cost of that, is credited by the IRS. And so my kitty come to see me. She's right down here. Yeah, so chances are I won't end up paying any tax on it anyway because of the credits. Well, Greasy Cat just trucked around the corner here and said, "Hey, Bill, the rain's starting. You're going to get your camera wet." And she says, "And I'm going to get wet. And wet cats aren't sustainable." Yeah, we're going to have to go on in, I guess, and start thinking about what I'm going to put up for lunch and whatnot. But that's about all I got to say on it. When it comes to buying companies, basically, am I investing in other people's ideas that I think are hot? That's what it's about. And I'm not about to, unless they really screw up or I need the money, I'm not about to go in and start pulling that money back out from the market, why? Because as it rides there is how it's working for me, you see. Okay, aloha. Y'all hang loose. Think sustainably.